Hello all, 4-Player Squad Gaming here, and this is our Final Fantasy XIV Trial Guide series. The Howling Extreme is a level 50 full party optional trial made available during the quest Gale Force Warning. It is also worth mentioning at the time of recording this video, 20 Tomestones of Poetics are awarded upon completion. This encounter certainly won't be a breeze, and the Lady of the Vortex has some tricks under her wings. So without further ado, let's get into the guard. We can start this fight as normal with the main tank gaining enmity of Garuda and facing her away from the party. It is also recommended to face Garuda to the outer edge of the party arena so her attacks cannot deal unnecessary damage to the party. You will have noticed waymarkers placed around the arena. This is done to help out with positionals throughout this fight. See here for how we have placed them. Slipstream is a frontal charged attack dealing moderate damage and stunning anybody caught in the blast. We can easily dodge the stun and damage by walking to Garuda's side or her rear during the cast. Downburst is a frontal cleave that deals moderate damage to all in front of Garuda. The rest of the party should be positioned behind Garuda to avoid this damage. After the first slipstream has been cast, Garuda will shrink the fight area using Eye of the Storm. The party need to head into the centre to avoid the damage from the swirling winds. Garuda will also disappear, leaving behind multiple AoE circles. These will deal low damage, however they will add a stacking debuff, Windburn. This will deal aero damage over time, so avoid allowing this to stack, and a tip for the healers, this can be cleansed with a Sooner or Leeches. Immediately after she reappears, she will cast Mistral Shriek from north to south down the centre. We avoid this by standing behind the pillars, avoiding her line of sight. This next phase will see multiple plumes spawn, mostly razor plumes with a singular satin plume. We need to prioritise the satin plume as it will deal damage and can debuff the whole party with sleep. DPS should focus the satin plume first and clear the rest of the razor plumes as fast as possible, whilst the main tank keeps Garuda towards the northern pillars and central, to reduce damage taken to the pillars. The main tank should aim Garuda out of the arena, as she will also cast Slipstream and Downburst in this phase, and this will reduce party damage. When enough damage has been dealt, Garuda will shout "Die, die, die" and summon the two adds, Garuda and Supana. The mechanics can get a bit tricky here. The main tank will need to gain enmity of Garuda and one of the adds and take them over to A, and the off tank will need to take the other over to B. If you haven't waymarked, just simply take them to opposite sides of the room. Garuda will be invulnerable to damage whilst the adds are alive. If the adds are too close, they will heavily buff one another and also Garuda. The orange tether between adds and Garuda increases their damage, and the green tether will heal the add and Garuda. The adds are your DPS check. The DPS should focus the off-tank add and kill it as quickly as possible, whilst the main tank deals as much damage as possible to their add. Healers need to be very aware of how much health the main tank has during this phase. Damage mitigation and cooldowns can be used to reduce the damage from both Garuda and the add. The adds will also cast Friction, a hard-hitting AoE circle which prioritises damage dealers, and they can also cast Slipstream, dealing damage and stunning anyone hit. A good tip for the healers is to stand at 1, or the centre, to be able to heal both main and off tank. Now that's skills. Once the off tank add is down, switch to the main tank add, and once down, damage Garuda until she disappears. Clear the area to avoid the feathers and windburn, and hide behind the pillars when she reappears. Garuda will cast Aerial Blast. This will be the DPS check damage and can deal very low to wipe damage depending on if you killed the adds. Garuda will shrink the fight area again and more plumes will spawn. This time you have razor plumes and a singular spiny plume. The spiny plume must not be damaged and must be kited around the area to avoid a stacking debuff Thermal Low. At 3 stacks of Thermal Low, the party will wipe to the next Mistral Shriek, so the main and off tank must manage the stacks here by tank swapping and avoid any damage to the spiny plume. Once Garuda disappears, the spiny plume can be killed and all party members need to stand in the barrier it creates. This will protect you from the damage of Mistral Shriek, and the party should survive. The spiny plume will cast a heavy hitting point blank AoE on its death, so avoid this as necessary. If the spiny plume is killed too quickly, it is possible to survive the Mistral Shriek using damage mitigation and damage reduction abilities such as Reprisal, which it is not recommended. 3 stacks of Thermal Low, however, will wipe the party no matter what, so be mindful of this. In this next phase, Garuda will again summon the adds Garuda and Supana, and the spiny plume. Split and separate as before and tank the spiny plume. After a short while, Garuda will cast Cyclone and separate the area with huge tornadoes that will deal damage to anyone caught inside them. We now have to position ourselves at C and D, or slightly clockwise to the north and south positions. If positioned correctly, the healers and ranged damage dealers will place in between B and C, or A and D in the safe zone. This will allow them to deal damage to both adds and heal both tanks. Pretty snazzy. Continue with this phase as before, and if your damage is high enough you can kill the ants and Garuda before the spiny plume needs to be activated. If your DPS is not high enough, activate the spiny plume as Garuda disappears as before and continue the fight. The third and fourth phase will repeat until Garuda is down. Alternatively, you can kill Garuda in the original fourth phase. And there you have it, the Howling Eye Extreme is complete. Remember to commemorate the player you believe deserves it most and pick up your loot. We give this trial a difficulty rating 4 out of 5 swords. This fight is mechanic heavy and the spiny plumes can cause players a real headache. The special loot for this trial includes the Vortex Rings, the Vortex Feather crafting item, the Xanthos Mount Whistle, the Nightmare Mount Whistle, faded copy of Fallen Angel Equestrian Roll, and the Garuda card. Remember to like, comment, and if you haven't already, click to subscribe, and a huge thank you to 1,000 subscribers. You make it all worthwhile. We are 4Player Squad Gaming, thanks for watching.